Today, I am put to the test with a decent bluff catcher and a $10,000 buy-in tournament late in day one. I get check shoved all in. Let's see if I lose all my money.
Raise 45.
Fresh off his double up. Little's in there with the raise. Queen 10 off on the button. Action on Clemen Deng in the big blinds. Going to make the call. Don't know his hand just yet, but we'll get that soon, hopefully.
We are playing 10,000, 20,000 with a 20,000 ante. Folds around to me on the button. I have 39 big blinds, queen of clubs, 10 of spades. I raise it up to 2.25 big blinds. Deng, the chip leader, in the big blind opts to call with a mystery hand. We're not going to know what he has today until the very end. This is a spot where I'm certainly going to be raising with roughly 45-ish% of hands. We are not quite in the money yet, so we're not on the stone bubble, but we're like getting kind of close. So I will tighten up a little, but not to the point I'm going to be super duper weekend tight. Queen 10 certainly going to raise every time. Let's go to the flop.
Yeah, it's still gamble, 50-50. I got 32%.
987 with a couple of hearts.
30, huh?
Little's open-ended.
You
Could have
see
gotten
that?
that flop last time. That would have been way more.
Oh, it's that flop, yes.
The flop comes 9 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts, giving me an open-ended straight draw to the nuts. Notice if I get a jack, I have a really good hand. So when Deng checks, this is a spot where I think a lot of people automatically continuation bet for 2 big blinds or 4 big blinds, but because there are payout implications, I definitely want to check. And I especially want to check hands that really want to get to see at least the river. Because notice if I bet, let's say 2 big blinds and he makes it 6, and I call, on the turn, if he bets, it's going to be 10 or 12. And at that point, I'm starting to get in a large chunk of my stack with, call it, just a draw, just queen high. And I certainly can't fold this hand. So this is a spot where in GTO world, I should mix between betting or checking, but I usually err towards being a little bit cautious in these situations to try to give myself the best chance of just not losing a huge pot. It's very important to just not lose huge pots kind of near the bubble. I like to go check. Let's go to the turn.
No, that flop is not right. It'd be too hot.
There's the straight
Too
for
high is
Little.
not right.
Action was checked through.
65.
Seconds.
The turn is the 6 of diamonds. I got it. We have the straight. It's not the nuts. That's jack 10, but 10's good enough. Deng checks. And at this point, I definitely need to bet. I want to get money in the pot. I have the best hand pretty much always. If I was sitting here with random unpaired high cards, I would bluff. So we go 65,000, about half pot. Deng pretty quickly calls. When he pretty quickly calls, what do we think he has at this point? At this point, I presume he has a lot of hands containing at least 1 pair, maybe 2 pair, a large amount of the time, and flush draws. That's about it. Maybe the bad end of the straight, maybe the top end of the straight. But this is a spot where I'm obviously loving my scenario, and I presume Deng is drawing pretty thin. If the river came a heart, I would still bet if he checked to me. If the river pairs the board, I'm still going to bet if he checks to me because I'm trying to get value from, like, say the river's a 6. I want to try to get value, or yeah, I want to try to get value from a hand like a 9, right? Or a 5 for the bottom end of the straight. So this is a spot where even though there are some nasty rivers, they're not going to be nasty to the point that I'm not going to go for value. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. The river is the 8 of spades. Not a particularly great card for me because we do lose to all the 2 pairs that had an 8, but I don't care. Ding checks, I go for 2/3 pot. Thinking about this a little bit more, I should probably go a little bit smaller, like half-ish pot in this situation to really try to get called by a 9, or maybe even a 7. I think an 8's always going to call, and a 5's always going to call. But I go half pot. Let's see what Deng does.
One eternity later.
Long tank here from Deng. As he tries to figure this one out.
All in.
Time extension.
Maybe he has value?
Deng gives us some thought, and then check raises all in. That is not what I wanted to see. What I want to know is, do you think in this situation he is over bluffing, under bluffing, or bluffing at the perfect GTO frequency? Take a second. Think about it. Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, click the like and subscribe button for me. This is a pretty cool spot because Deng is trying to make me fold out a straight. Because if I had trips in the spot on the river, I'm not going for value. My value range in the spot on the river is a straight and better. And of course, I'm going to have some bluffs. So the question becomes, is do we think Deng is bluffing at the GTO frequency, which can already tell you no one bluffs at exactly the GTO frequency? Or is he over bluffing? Or is he under bluffing? Now, Deng gets in there and battles. I know you probably have not played a ton with him, but if you've watched him play on PokerGO or wherever else he's played, he is not afraid. So right off the bat, this is a spot where I think a player like Deng is going to be not afraid and is going to go for it. The question is, go for it with what? Well, in this scenario, you need to be bluffing in Deng's shoes with a decent amount of your trips, especially the ones with bad kickers, which may seem very abnormal. I don't think most people take trips and bluff it. I think a lot of people with trips just say call, lose the pot, and move on with their life. But it turns out that if I'm betting the river for value with lots of straights and some full houses, you want to block the full houses. So having an 8 blocks the full houses, right? And if you shove with a lot of hands containing an 8 as your bluffs, it makes my straights actually want to fold. Or at least they're kind of close to indifferent, which is really not where you want to be with the straight. However, if he bluffs with some 8s, but then also the counterfeited 2 pairs, like 9-7, 9-6, and 7-6, if he check raise bluffs those all in, he's going to be bluffing far too often. And I know from playing with a lot of loose aggressive players, a lot of players in the spot are going to take those 2 pairs and bluff them a large chunk of the time. For example, 9-7 in GTO world should call. It should not be bluffed. Because if you're bluffing 9-7 and a lot of the hands containing an 8, you're bluffing far too often. Now, if you never bluff your 8s, but you bluff all the 2 pairs, you're still probably going to be counterfeited 2 pairs. You're still probably going to be bluffing too often, but it's going to be closer. But if he's going to be bluffing with some trips and some 2 pairs, my queen 10 becomes a call because he's going to be way, way, way too bluff heavy. Now, to complicate things, if he's check raising a hand containing a 10, which he probably shouldn't do against my big bet, then it gets a little dicier because now there's a lot of hands I'm chopping with in addition to too many bluffs. But I think this is a spot where he should be check raising almost entirely with full houses and bluffs. And it's easy to over bluff in this spot if you know to bluff with pairs. And I think Deng does. Let's see if I get a double up or if I'm removed from the tournament.
Check jams. Putting little to the test here. Still don't know Deng's hand.
Alrighty.
Little calls.
Wow.
Looks like he's gonna double up. What's Deng got?
What? Oh, I thought you full house. No.
Looks like the full house. 9 of hearts, 7 diamonds.
9 of hearts, 7 of diamonds
Lido,
for Deng.
wow.
So blocking full house combos. His Deng really tried to push
Merry Christmas.
his opponent off a straight there. Of course, it does not work. And
This time he has the 9-7, maybe a hand that indicates he's bluffing a little bit too often. And if he's bluffing a little bit too often, I certainly have a very, very easy call. You see how quick I called, right? Popped it right in there. That's it for today. Good luck in your games. Have fun. When you have a straight and the board contains a full house, I hope your opponents show you the bluff.